Hey everybody, welcome back to Holt Growers. We're in the southern beds today. You can hear the chickens. They're not real happy with me right now, mainly because I'm not letting them back here anymore. I let them back here after we harvested the garlic for the season and cleaned up these beds so they could peck and scratch and do what they do best and have a great time. However, now it's definitely time to get next year's crop in the ground. So we've got our new garlic seed. We're going to be breaking those apart and getting it in the ground. Hopefully we'll get a harvest mid to late July. And if we don't get it in the ground now, we won't get a harvest. So just like with life, you got to do some planning. You got to put in some work on a cool day like today. It's 40 degrees out. You got to get out and get the work done and prepare. Otherwise, you're gonna wake up one day and go, what happened to my life? So that's one thing I like about planting crops and doing this backyard farming is the practical application of putting in the hard work and getting the reward. So as always, get out, grow something today. God bless you. We're going to cut to a time lapse and get this garlic in the ground. All right, break time. As you can see, everything is raked out now. Probably wondering why I put that one fur line right there. It's because yesterday I was out here and I already planted some garlic right there. While I was tilling, I noticed that these beds, these two rows here, didn't get all of the garlic harvested. Some was left in and had already started to go to seed. So I took the liberty of carefully pulling it up and replanting it after tilling. So that's why there's some still in there. All right, like that one right there. Now you might be also wondering why I raked everything down here to the north side of the garden. That's because the south end is a higher elevation than the north end. So water naturally flows downhill. And all of the rocks and gravel that make up this garden bed, I want to move downhill so I can, over time, transplant it with organic matter and soil. And some of that you can see. For example, these beds are pretty loose, pretty good, okay? But if we move over here where there used to be a gravel driveway back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, it's pretty gravel rich still. And the garden rake, show you real quick here. Not all garden rakes are created equal, but I do like this one. You can even see a rock still stuck in it. It moves that gravel pretty well, pretty easily, and gets it out of our way. Plants generally don't like to grow in gravel, especially plants with bulbs. So all of that rock moved down here, as you can see. I've already, over the last couple of years, taken out quite a few chunks of the clay bed that was under the gravel and the like. So future plans is when these lovely ladies have filled the coop with their wonderful organic matter known as poop, along with the bedding, it'll come straight out here to the garden beds and get spread out. But as we move through here, you'll see also over here I've got some OSB down, I've got quite a bit of gravel down, and the reason for that is also at some point in time in a previous resident, this whole row here about 5 feet from this fence line was a rock garden. So it made sense just to leave it as that and not try to overtake it. Our strawberries are pretty decent. It's way late in the year, but I see we do have a couple buds, which is kind of odd. It's the beginning of October, so seeing those flowers is strange. These should be producing end of June and through July, so definitely out of season for that. Also, while raking, anything like that gets raked up as well and gets moved. So earlier in the week, I brought a bunch of scrap wood out here, just scrap dimensional lumber, and burnt it right on the beds. That ash, as you can see right there's some left over, but it's going to help fertilize the land by adding nitrogen, which garlic likes. All right, break time's over, so now it's time to get this stuff in the ground. What we did is we took our cloves, we just broke them apart, and if there's a little bit of paper like that on there, that's fine. If there's no paper on it, that's fine too. It doesn't really matter that much because they're going to grow pretty much the same way. So we just broke it apart, and now it's time to get it in the ground. So we're going to use this as our line. Just do one row at a time, and then when we're all done, we're going to take all of our paper here and just throw it out on the beds because it will either blow away or decompose. So and either way it's good for us. So next year, next spring, even later this fall, we should see the garlic popping out of the ground this fall. It should be fine over the winter. We don't get a lot of hard freezing here in western Pennsylvania where we're at. And if we did, that wouldn't be a big deal either, as long as there's enough stock there to sustain the garlic. So in the spring, however, this entire space is going to be all garlic, and it should yield about 150 to 200 pounds of garlic by the time we're done. So starting with this right here is 4 pounds of seed. Plus we've already got about 1.5 pounds or so in the ground. So that's a pretty good return, I think, on investment. And yeah, it's a little bit of work, but I enjoy it. So let's cut to a time lapse, get this in the ground, and go from there. All right, so garlic is in the ground. I'm estimated poorly on how much seed I needed. So now I gotta find a supplier. Ideally, I would like to use seed from last year's crop. However, this year I wasn't able to do that because of the expansion, mostly. So last year we only had 2 beds full of garlic, and this year we're doing the entire garden bed, the entire thing. So we need to buy some seed, and I didn't buy enough. So I will be coming back hopefully tomorrow or Monday and finishing the rest of this bed so we can have all of it garlic, the whole thing. Like I said earlier, I'm estimating it'll yield about 150 to 200 pounds of garlic next year, and it should go well. We'll see. As always, I'm Simply Holt. Get out, grow something today. May God bless you.